My story, I was a global resident before we knew what a global residency was, before there was even a term for it. I finished a master's. I worked for a church in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They had a connection with a church in Nairobi, Kenya called Nairobi Chapel. So I went from Elmbrook Church in Milwaukee to Nairobi Chapel in Nairobi, Kenya for what was supposed to be 1 year. And it's a leadership development program that they call Kinara. And so it's taking these young leaders fresh out of college and molding them and shaping them and helping to draw out the potential in them, and then setting them loose to the world for the cause of Jesus Christ. And so as I was there, I fell in love unexpectedly. I didn't know that was going to happen. It was pretty awesome. So during that year, I started looking for reasons to go back to Kenya. And Pastor Oscar Murray sat me down before he knew I was dating a Kenyan woman, and he said, "Hey, why don't you come back and be a pastor with us here at the chapel?" And I said, "That's awesome. I'd love to." And so after that 1 year, I went back home, did some fundraising, came back to Nairobi. I married my now wife. After we got married, then we were shipped off to Liberia, to Monrovia, Liberia, to help start a church, Trinity Chapel, Monrovia. And that's where the global residency side. So I learned in Africa, I learned in Kenya, in Nairobi, how to start a church, how to be a part of a church, what it looks like to lead a church. And then they sent me to Monrovia, Liberia, to actually put a team together and work cross-culturally with Liberian leaders and Liberian pastors, ministering to the Liberian people and starting a church of believers who can then go out and reproduce that and help other people to find their way back to God. And so that's my story in a nutshell. And that's what it looks like for the global residency. It's sending you to a place to learn cross-culturally about church planting, and then sending you to another international city to start a church to minister to those people. And that's the overarching theme of what we hope to get out of the global residency. And we're hoping that you're interested in that. Before I went on the global residency, but before I left the U.S. For my internship at Nairobi Chapel, I had a couple fears. One, I had to raise funds. I had never raised funds before. I didn't know the first thing about raising money to support myself. Just coming out of college, I had a job, like I said, at Elmbrook. They paid a little bit. So this is now stepping into the unknown. It's like, I went to one church my whole life growing up. It's a church about 200 people. They give to missions, but they're not going to be able to support me fully. I don't have many other connections. So that was a huge, huge fear. I wasn't sure how God was going to provide, and I had never done it, so I didn't have any faith behind me to propel me forward and saying God's going to do this, because it was a pretty scary step for me. Another one was just leaving my friends and family. I grew up in a small town in the middle of Wisconsin. It's like 10,000 people, maybe. We're very close to my brothers, very close to my parents. I had a lot of good friends. Like, hey, what's this going to mean? I'm going to be gone for a year at that point in time. It turned out to be 30. What is it going to mean for my relationships? What's it going to mean for the people that I love and care for the most? And what's it going to impact them? Is it going to have an impact on them, me not being around? What are the dynamics of that? And then another one was just culture and language. Now, thankfully, in Nairobi, they speak English, so there wasn't a lot of language barrier, but they also speak Swahili, and there's 42 tribes, so they all have their own tribal language. And so I was learning and understanding some of that, and I was like, okay, so there's going to be some issues with culture and language. And then being the minority. I had never been the minority in my life. I grew up in a place that was 98.9% white. So now I was going to be on the other, that was going to be the 1%. So what does that mean? What are the dynamics of race in Africa, in Kenya? And then spiders, man. I grew up fearing spiders, so that was a very real fear for me. It's like, all I knew about Africa, I'd never been there, I didn't know anything. It's like, everything there is giant, and the tarantulas are as big as my face. So what does that look like? So some of them more real than others, and as I got there, and as I went through it, as I went through the process, God just threw them aside, one after another after another. Fundraising, God provided 3 times more than I had set as my goal. I had set a goal of $12,000. God brought in $36,000 that first year and set me through all that I wanted to do. So when I got there, I was able to give. I was able to support different ministries. I was able to go on a trip to climb Mount Kilimanjaro, just some things that I hadn't planned for, that God opened doors for because He was faithful to provide for what I needed when I was there. The culture. I had never been out of the U.S. I'd never really been much out of the Midwest. And I ended up, and still now today, one of the things I love most about traveling is culture, is understanding how people look at God differently, how people understand God differently, how they read Scripture. We're reading the same thing, but we interpret it through different perspectives and different lenses, and how they complement each other. And even though they may look different on the surface, when you start getting to it, it's like, hey, I never thought about that. I never saw it that way before. And the different gifts that we all have in the body of Christ. So the culture aspect of it was amazing, because now I see, hey, the Kenyans, they worship, they pray, they're hospitable, all things that in even greater amounts than I've ever seen in the U.S. And so there's just like, we need to be together. And so part of the fear of culture was that I wouldn't fit in, but really it was how it built me up more as a Christian, as a follower of Jesus, because I understood God so much more through how he had blessed the Kenyan people and the Liberian people. Liberians are extremely servant-hearted, just kind. They love missionaries. They take care of missionaries so well. And so it's just all these things that I learned that I didn't know before. And it could have been a barrier to me knowing God and experiencing him in ways that I wouldn't have before had I said, I'm scared of the culture, I can't go. And then being the minority was kind of fun for a while. It was all right. You know, you're different and you stick out. And so it draws attention to yourself and it brings out insecurity. But at the same time, when it's brought out of you, you realize that there's some things that are deep inside you that need to be dealt with, and God helps you to walk through it. He helped me to walk through it. Just being around, constantly seeing people that I didn't know and that were a different color of skin, and they're looking at me and it's like, did I do something wrong? Are they upset with me? Is there something I've done? Do they not want me in their country? And all of these fears and all of these thoughts that they didn't have any solid weight to them. As I talked more and more, it's just difference in cultures. It's not as rude in Kenya to look or to stare as it is in the U.S. So they're just checking me out because I'm different, and it was fine, and it was okay. But that also could have been something that kept me from going. And then spiders, there are some there. I didn't see any that were very big, so it was all right. They're not all over the place like I thought, in every corner, in every hole, and so that wasn't really an issue for me. For you guys who are thinking about going, as you're listening to this, as you're processing, as God's speaking to you, just do it. The one thing I always tell people when they're, especially young kids, young guys coming out of college, you will never regret something like this. It can only build you up. It can only draw you closer to God. You're going to know God in a way you never could have experienced in your own context and culture. And so if I could do it again, I would. And my wife and I are going to go now live in Toronto for a year, and then we're going back to Kenya. We've lived in now, it'll be 4 different countries in 4 years. And we love it, because every time we go, we're experiencing God. We're learning more about God. My faith was grown in such a way that I can't even put into words. I understood the concept of faith, but when you step out in faith and it becomes tangible, and you begin to exercise faith, and you begin to see all of what God can and wants to do, the fundraising experience was a faith builder. The living with a Kenyan couple, or with a Kenyan family, was a faith builder, because I didn't understand what the dynamics of that was, and so I just, in faith, hoped that they weren't going to think I was some weird American. Planning a church in Liberia with 6 weeks being married was a faith venture. So all of these things that I wouldn't have had opportunities probably had I stayed in my own comfortable little life in the middle of Wisconsin, were able just to draw out of me more and more of this faith. And then being able to interact with another culture. Now some of my best friends are Kenyans, and I never would have had that opportunity. So though I left some relationships, I gained so many relationships. And so it was a back and forth. There's so much out there in the world. And I just can't speak enough about the great opportunity that you have to go, to learn, to understand how the world works, and then be able to go and minister to people who don't know much about your culture, and what you can teach them and what you can lead them towards Jesus in ways that would stretch their faith, would increase their capacity to give, would increase their capacity to learn, and just to go out and challenge other people, and to go out and minister to other people and help other people come into the kingdom. So if I could say one thing to you, if you're thinking about it, just do it. Because if God's put that in you, He has so much for you when you step into that space. If you don't go, you always wonder, oh, what if? But when you go and you step out in that, it's like, wow, God, you had so much more for me. You literally, my life is something beyond I could have ever asked or imagined. And when we do that, when we take that first step, He opens up another door for another step. It opens up another door for another step. And our life takes on a whole different look and meaning and understanding than our own plans. And I like to plan. And so He has so much more for you. So just go, do it, enjoy, have a blast, and let God take control of your life.